Good news for the Chicago Bears' chances of acquiring the number one overall pick. While fans seem to be on edge and more frustrated than usual, things seem to be falling in place for the Chicago Bears to at least have a top two pick in the upcoming NFL draft. Not much has went right for the Chicago Bears 2022 season. Setting at 3-13, fans are rightfully disappointed. The future is brighter than ever though. We have our franchise quarterback on the roster and the most cap space in the NFL. On top of that, a lot of things have went the Bears' way in the last few weeks when it comes to draft positioning. Other teams getting some unexpected wins, and the Bears' losing streak continuing into the new year has put the Bears into a position to possibly land the number one overall pick. It's now a real possibility, and by 4 p.m. on Sunday, we should know for sure whether or not the Bears got the number one pick in the upcoming draft. Three more things have gone Chicago's way when it comes to the number one pick this week. Only two things need to happen in order for us to secure the number one overall pick. The Bears need to lose, and the Texans need to win against the Colts. A tie or a loss, and the Texans would keep the top pick. So what's the good news? Good news number one is Lovie Smith. He has stated repeatedly that the Texans will play to win this game, and Lovie is known as a guy who doesn't care about draft position. The Texans also have plenty of extra draft picks to move up even if they didn't land the number one overall pick. They got tons of extra picks from the Deshaun Watson trade. So all Bears fans should be rooting for the Texans on Sunday. Also, they're playing the Colts, and the Colts are not very good themselves. Their starting quarterback was benched, their backup quarterback is hurt, and they are starting Sam Ehlinger on Sunday. The next good thing comes from the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of people have worried that since the Vikings have clinched the NFC North already and don't have a shot at the number one seed anymore, that they would rest their starters this weekend. That does not seem to be the case. The Vikings have a couple of things to play for, and their coaching staff has said that starters will play. They have a shot at the number two seed if the 49ers lose. That game won't happen until after the Vikings-Bears game, and also the Vikings suffered one of their worst losses of the entire season last week, and they probably want to get that taste out of their mouth and build some momentum for the playoffs with a win. Good news number three is the Chicago Bears offering up sacrificial lamb to the Vikings in the name of Nathan Peterman. Justin Fields has a strained hip and will be out for this week's game, but he will be 100% very soon for the offseason. That's great news, and that gives the Bears at least a 50-50 chance of acquiring the number one pick. I think it would be huge for our rebuild. It would also give us the top pick in rounds 3 through 6. Remember, Poles traded down multiple times in round 5 last year and would have plenty of opportunities to acquire more picks in the middle rounds as well, not just the first overall pick. This is a potentially historic moment for our franchise. This is already set up to be the most important offseason in our team's history. But the Chicago Bears haven't had the number one overall pick in the NFL draft since 1947. You heard me right, 1947. It's been over 75 years since the Chicago Bears have had the number one overall pick. It hasn't happened in my lifetime, and it would be awesome. Meanwhile, the Texans have had the number one overall pick 3 times in the last 20 years. They don't need it again. The Jaguars have had the number one overall pick 2 straight years, and look how much better they are this season. Just think about that. All the bad seasons we've had, and we haven't gotten the number one overall pick one single time in the Super Bowl era. Not once. The reason is because not only does your team have to be bad, but there is some luck that goes into it as well. Bad luck on the football field, but good luck for draft positioning. Also, the Bears have been known to win games late in the season after being eliminated from the playoffs. They've done it my entire lifetime. Our front office has never had a tanking mentality. I don't believe this front office tried to tank either. If they did, they probably wouldn't have traded for Chase Claypool, but this team has had a lot of bad luck. That actually is good luck when it comes to acquiring the number one overall pick. Finishing an inch short of a Darnell Mooney touchdown catch at the goal line, Velus Jones Jr. himself fumbled away 3 close games. Emir Smith-Marset had a win ripped right out of his hands. Equanimous St. Brown dropped a win. We lost a game on a missed extra point and one on a missed field goal. All these things potentially work in the Bears' favor if they can snag that top overall pick. It could be a franchise-altering move. We could potentially turn that one pick into 2 or 3 first-round picks or more. Just think about that. In the last 5 years, we have only made 1 first-round pick. 1. And that's Justin Fields. Due to the Khalil Mack trade and the trade up for Justin Fields, this team has made exactly 1 first-round pick from 2019 to 2023. Now we could potentially turn our 1 first-round pick into 3, even if we just got 2 first-round picks for it. That would be more first-round picks than we've made in 5 years. The options are endless. This team needs talent around Justin Fields. This offseason is going to be so exciting, so important, and potentially franchise-altering. So yes, the number 1 pick is important, and we have a real chance to get it for the first time in my entire life. Matter of fact, the first time in 75 years. Final reminder, we need the Bears to lose to the Vikings and the Texans to beat the Colts, and that number 1 pick belongs to us. It would be an unbelievable moment for our franchise history and give Ryan Poles more ammunition than any of our GMs have ever had in our franchise's entire history. It's been 75 years since we've had the number 1 pick, but we definitely didn't have the number 1 pick, extra draft picks, and the most cap space in the NFL or a franchise quarterback back then. So this is monumental for our franchise. I will be live Sunday watching the Bears game while keeping an eye on the Texans-Colts box score. Come by and say hi. Stay tuned, guys. I have tons more coming. Hit the like button for me. And until next time, bear down.